We are live. Make sure everybody sees this custom rags to riches coffee mug. Can barely see. What a waste of money. Anyway, we have a great show for you today. Cleaners are easier to find than you think, and I'll uncover the biggest myth in starting a cleaning business. The reason why I'm having this topic, Annette, good to see you again. I mean, hey, mom. The reason why I'm talking about this today is because a lot of people, for one reason or another, may find it or think that it's difficult to get good cleaners, keep them happy, pay them well, and so they want to jump into this business because they see all the proof online and they see others really making some good money doing a remote cleaning business, but they have these irrational fears about hiring people and do they have to train them and all these other questions. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to do a deep dive and I'm going to show you why it's nothing to worry about. But before I do that, if you're new to the show, hi, Lindsay, thanks for showing up. If you're new to the show, my name is John Margalit. I am the founder of Happy Home Helpers, a 7-figure remote cleaning business that made over 1.5 million last year in 2025. And this year in 2026, I'm on pace to eclipse 2 million. And this is only my 4th year in business, so it's relatively fast. I'm also the creator of Rags to Riches University, where I teach aspiring entrepreneurs and cleaning business owners how to start and grow a profitable cleaning business using my proven sales and marketing systems. I previously led sales for a tech startup on Wall Street years ago that scaled to 9 figures and exited. And that's where I fine-tuned high-performing sales teams and customer acquisition systems that I apply in a way that nobody else in the industry does. That's why my results are extraordinary. And my students' results are extraordinary as well in Rags to Riches University. I've been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, Yahoo Finance, just to name a few things. And my cleaning business was named Best Cleaning Service in Las Vegas by City Council. They did a nice interview and piece on me in the newspaper, and it was really a nice honor. If you are interested in having me help you grow your cleaning business or start your cleaning business, I work with people in 2 ways. The first way is what I call the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator. You get my complete operating system, pricing models, hiring systems, sales scripts, automation workflows, marketing structures, onboarding systems, everything, plus weekly coaching calls with me. And you get proximity. So you're on a private Discord server with me and a whole wonderful online community I built of people that are like-minded doing the same things. Happy Friday, Rick. Thanks for showing up again. Rick is in the community. Lindsay's in the community. And my mom's retired. I'm just pointing out the people that are on right now. And this is for the person who wants clarity, accountability, and a proven blueprint plus proximity to me. You can send me messages and I'll answer them. Quite often, if I think that a quick phone call or a quick Zoom is more productive than answering on the direct message, I'll just go ahead and pick up the audible phone on Discord and I'll call, or I'll set up a call and I'll just contribute that way. Whatever it takes to make the members successful, I do. And that's why we have a really high success rate. All right. And then if you're really curious and you want it to go at warp speed, not light speed, but warp speed, or as they say in Spaceballs, ludicrous speed, you can also join my Founder Intensive. It's a 90-day private build program. This is hands-on. You get everything in the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator, but we work closely together to build your business correctly from day one. You don't just get the information, you get implementation and precision. I use that word because I feel like I'm a surgeon. I go in there and I architect everything for you. I teach you everything I know. My team works with you hand in hand, and we get to 10K in 90 days or less. Usually it takes about half that time. I just want to under promise and over deliver. So if you're serious, you can apply. I don't just accept people. You have to fill out a 12 to 15 question application because I only want to work with people who are serious and ready to execute. That's also why the success rate is very high. All you have to do is email me, john@johnmargalit.com. It's scrolling, or visit johnmargalit.com at the bottom. But the best way is DM me on Instagram or send me an email, john@johnmargalit.com, if you have any questions and you would like to apply. You can also be a guest of the show. I love to have anybody who's thinking about starting a cleaning business, who has one, or just any home service was fine, or anything that you want to talk about. If you want to be a guest of the show, DM at John Margalit on Instagram. The moderator is there and waiting. He'll send you a link. We'll have you up on the show. And I'm coming to you by way of StreamYard, which is a platform that allows me to stream on every other platform out there except for TikTok, because TikTok has a separate creator platform. If you don't follow me on TikTok, I'm trying to get to 1,000+ followers, so then I could then have the TikTok Creator Studio, and I'll go live in the evening. So please give me a follow there. And if you haven't yet followed, subscribed, and liked the show, please do so now. And I'll go ahead and dive right in. And I always begin the show the same way before I go into the topic. And I let people know why I'm here. I'm here for the people who feel stuck in their job or any situation they can't stand, who are tired of trading their time for a paycheck, tired of building someone else's dream, and tired of feeling like they just don't have real options. I've been exactly where you are, and I had a good job. I even stay in touch with the founders of the business, the ones that had the 9-figure exit and did really well for themselves. Great guys. They taught me a lot. But it was their business, not mine. And I had a huge hand in building it. I really did. They confided in me. They gave me the reins, and I took them to the promised land. And not to take any credit away from them, they did the heavy lifting. But I had a very nice situation to come into that they allowed me to have, and they trusted me. So I'm grateful. But I after that, I had other jobs. I had 2 jobs, and I hated it. It was just the same thing over and over again, even though I was making okay money. But I built my way out of that situation with a very simple remote cleaning business. And now my goal is to help you do the same. And this is not just potentially about starting a business. It's also about what the experience of being truly free does to you. How you become a different kind of person with way more confidence, more clarity, more decisiveness, more capabilities. And most of all, you become so much more resilient. So you can create real financial freedom and real time freedom in your life. If you've been here for other episodes, you know I always share my ideas, my honest perspectives, simple frameworks about mindset, sales, marketing, decision-making, and problem solving. The things you actually need to think and act like somebody who can build their own future. And just as important as the tactics, I always say I want this show to be a daily reminder that transformation is in fact possible. There are many people doing it and have done it in the program, and even outside of the program, of course. And you're not crazy for wanting more. And you're definitely not alone in this journey. That's why I show up here every day, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time on all platforms. And because real transformation always starts with a decision, you have to choose to want it. It's there for you, but you have to choose and commit. And because of that, we begin the show every day with the same question. If you don't change anything, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing, you will very likely be in the same position next year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, feeling the same frustration, the same lack of control, and the same resentment towards your job or whatever situation you're in. Sometimes people. But if you're committed to transforming your life, and I'm talking about really committed, there's a real chance that in less than 5 years, you could be exactly where you want to be. And I think it can happen in 1 to 3 years most often. But I say 5 because I've learned, I'm about 45 now, I've learned that life takes a little bit of patience. You have to show up, you have to be consistent, and you have to be patient. So the real question is, knowing all that, you've got to be real with yourself, and you've got to look in the mirror, and you've got to ask yourself this question. What hurts more? Continuing to endure a job or situation you hate or you know is a dead end, or enduring the temporary discomfort of pursuing freedom and building something of your very own? Because here's the truth that most people always want to avoid. The pain of staying the same, like I always say, has no upside. Zero, zilch, nada, no upside. It just repeats. But the pain of trying to change, a temporary pain, of building, learning, of failing and trying again, at least gives you a real chance at a better life. That's it. The show topic today is cleaners are easier to find than you think. The biggest myth in starting a cleaning business. I'm going to uncover that today. Thank you, Taj, for flashing that. You can also go to johnmargalit.com and you can get more resources there. I'll take a quick look. Eddie, good to see you. I had a chat with Eddie on Instagram earlier. Hopefully I gave you some clarity and some insight there. And a lot of people tell me they'd love to start a cleaning business, but they're afraid of one thing. Usually it's just this one thing. They say, John, what if I can't find cleaners? And every time I hear that, I smile. Because the truth is, cleaners are one of the easiest workforces in the world to find. In fact, if you don't, or well, let me rephrase that. If you understand how the labor market for cleaning actually works, you'll realize something. The supply of cleaners is enormous. And in today's economy, it's actually getting bigger. So today, I want to break down the psychology, the economics, and the reality of the cleaning workforce and show you why this fear is completely irrational. Completely. If you have any questions or comments, please, the engagement is terrific. If you have anything for me, please leave it in the chat. If you want to be a guest of the show, DM me on Instagram at John Margalit. Moderator will send you a link. You'll hop on up. You don't have to be on camera, but if you do, it's more fun that way. And my mom really likes that part of the segment. I keep mentioning her all the time because I feel like I'm the person that I am today because of her. So I feel like credit is due and it needs to be said multiple times, probably on every episode. So I don't want to forget that. One of the biggest misconceptions people have when they think about starting a cleaning business is that labor will be the hardest part. They imagine some nightmare scenario where they're scrambling around town trying to find cleaners, begging people to work, struggling to find anyone reliable. But the reality is almost the exact opposite. Cleaning, let me backtrack, it's the exact opposite if you know what you're doing. Cleaning is one of the most universally understood skills in the entire world. I mean, think about it. Rick says, I hope you clean her home for free. I do, actually, Rick. That's funny you mentioned that. My mom has a relationship with some of our cleaners because they do frequent her condo. And so anyway, hey, Scott, good to see you. That's funny that you mentioned that. She likes Anya. Anya is her favorite. So back to what I was thinking about. Cleaning is one of the most universally understood skills in the entire world. Now think about this very simply. You didn't go to school to learn how to clean your house. You didn't need a certification, no degree, no license. Most people learned how to clean simply because they had to clean their own living space growing up, which means the potential workforce is massive in every city, in every neighborhood, in every income bracket. And that's a huge advantage for anyone building a cleaning business. Because when the barrier to entry for a job is low, the labor pool becomes huge. Now combine that with something else happening in the economy right now, something that people also might fear, but they're very aware of. More and more traditional jobs are disappearing, vanishing, evaporating. Automation, AI, layoffs, corporate restructuring. And when those things happen, people start looking for work that is stable, practical, and always in demand. And cleaning checks every one of those boxes. People will always need their homes cleaned. Recessions don't stop it. Technology cannot replace it, at least not for a long time. I mean, even the Roomba, I think, is pretty shitty, to be honest. I've tried it and returned it. I've bought in 3 different models over the years, and it's not great. It's okay. Makes my dog go crazy. It's just not that great. And that's why the labor pool for cleaning is incredibly strong. I want to share a personal story real quick before I get to my talking points. About 5.5 years ago, before I moved to Las Vegas, I was living in LA post-COVID, at the end of COVID and pandemic. And I applied for yet another job because I hadn't started this business yet. And I had, I think, 6 interviews for a startup called MaidBot. I've never told anybody this story, only some of my really close friends. MaidBot, MaidBot. And what they were building, and they got funding from Peter Thiel, the one of the PayPal founders, Palantir founder, best-selling author. I mean, the guy's a genius, billionaire. And he gave this kid out of It was an Ivy League school. I forget which one, but he gave him a seed money. It was $5 billion. He was 19 when he received it. And the reason why he had this idea is because he was using a cleaning job at a hotel to pay for his books. That's how he was like surviving. His parents didn't have any money. He was on scholarship and he needed extra money for books and living and other things. And he noticed something. And obviously the kid was very smart, or young adult. He noticed that the majority of injuries to the workforce in a hotel environment, the cleaning staff specifically, was back pain and back injury from leaning over and pushing a vacuum. And so he thought in his mind, what if I could take the Roomba concept and turn that into a commercial maid bot, if you will, that augmented the workforce's activities and took over the part that caused them the most pain and insurance claims. That's what his angle was. Really brilliant. Most companies will invest, especially big companies at scale, will invest in tools, apps, and other things that will lessen the amount of claims they have, because the more claims they have will drive up their cost of the insurance premium. So with that in mind, we got in touch. I applied on LinkedIn. And we met. I flew out to Austin, Texas. I had several meetings with them. I remember demoing the product, and I was thinking in my mind, like, "Oh my God, this is so shitty." But I have to act excited, and I don't really want to tell these guys what I really think, because I'm trying to get the job. The thing kept malfunctioning. It kept hitting at walls, and it wouldn't turn around. It was a disaster. I don't even think the company's still alive. Maybe they are. I hope they are. He was a nice guy. But I ultimately I was hired by them, and I ended up turning it down. I ended up turning it down because I didn't believe in the product. And from that experience, having a lot of seed money and having some of the brightest, best investors in the entire world behind this concept, and seeing how far away they were from something that even remotely worked, the gap is just huge. And I know that the technology gap is closing fast on everything, but not this. No, cleaners will be around for a long time. Now, onto my talking points. I just wanted to share that I was ready to lead sales. They were going to send me off to Hilton and all these hotel chains, corporate, to try to get them to use the product. But I can't sell something I don't believe in. No matter how much money they offered or whatever, it just wasn't worth it. So here I am. And cleaning is one of the largest labor pools in any city, even the small ones, like I mentioned, because of those low or no barriers to entry. You don't need a college degree. You don't need certifications. You don't need journeyman apprenticeships. You don't need any experience. I mean, no formal experience. Some of my best cleaners have never worked at a cleaning company before mine. They're just really good cleaners. And it's a basic life skill, which means almost anyone can do it. So when people say, what if I can't find cleaners? I usually say, there are thousands of people in your city who could start cleaning for you that are looking for a cleaning job right now. You just need to know where to look. And cleaning can actually be a very good income. A lot of people underestimate how much cleaners can make. Some of my cleaners make $6,000 plus per month, and that includes tips. And a lot of that income is cash. Many clients give generous holiday bonuses. And if a cleaner builds regular clients, they can create a very stable income. For someone who doesn't want a corporate job, that's incredibly attractive. If you have any questions, comments, disagreements, please let me know in the chat. If you want to be a guest of the show, DM me at John Margalit on Instagram. If you haven't given me a follow on TikTok, please do so now. And if you want to come up and talk to me, that would be awesome. You don't have to be on camera, but if you do, it's more fun. Thank you to all the regulars in my program that show up every day and listen. I appreciate you guys. Incredible gratitude that I feel every time I see one of you comment and participate. Many people actually enjoy cleaning. This surprises people, and I don't know why. But a lot of cleaners find the work therapeutic. There's something satisfying about organizing a space, transforming a messy room, seeing immediate results from your work. That's why the show title today is Cleaners Are Easier to Find Than You Think. And I'm going to I'm gonna debunk the biggest myth in starting a cleaning business. It's physical. It's physical work. It's active. And for many people, that's much more enjoyable than sitting at a desk staring at a computer all day. The few times that I go in the field to get content and B-roll and stuff like that, it's actually not that bad. And I have jumped in very early on a couple of cleans where somebody, we arrived and the house was like way messier than they thought. And I just didn't have any more cleaners to send. So I came and I scrubbed some baseboards for a few hours and whatnot. And, I feel like if you get hands-on sometimes, you don't have to. It gives you a feel for what what your staff goes through. And it gives you a much better connection with them. You can empathize a lot more when you yourself have been on your hands and knees scrubbing baseboards. I honestly, I have so much respect for them. Cleaning up other people's messes all day, every day is hard work. And that's why it pays well. It pays a lot more than minimum wage. All right. Any questions, comments? Rick says, younger people or moms looking for part-time? Absolutely. Again, some of my best cleaners are describe the demographic. It's a stay-at-home mom, drops the kids off at school at 8 o'clock, 7:30, and until 3 or 3:30, doesn't have a lot of things to do except keep the house. And they like to do one clean a day, keeps them busy, brings in really good money to have a dual income. And then, they stop cleaning around 3, they go pick up the kids, and then they have a normal life. And that's a large part of the workforce that I've put together here in Las Vegas. And it's great because it's flexible for them. And he says, hey, John, what do you do when someone doesn't feel comfortable paying up front? That's a great question. Great question. Let me give you a very clear answer. I did a whole show on this. Number one, you have to have the right trust elements in place on the internet. You've got to be Google certified. Your Google business profile has to be approved and certified. You have to have the ability to show some proof and social proof, meaning you have ratings and reviews that are good. And on my website, I have before and after pictures of jobs to show real proof of how we transform spaces. The other thing that you have to concisely explain to people that I have in all the messaging and the scripts that come in my training program cover this extensively. But to cut to the chase, people have to understand very quickly that if they want a trustworthy, reliable, professional service, it costs a little bit more. And I simply tell them, I pay my cleaners top dollar so I can have the best people come give you service. And if that's what you want, this is the price. And then I do something a little tricky. I use psychology and I say, if price is the only thing that matters to you, we're probably not a good fit. And then I just pause. That uncomfortable dead silence, it more often than not compels people to say, well, no, and that's not what I'm telling you. That's not what I said. And then I say, well, no, I mean, that's what I'm hearing from you. But look, if you want really good service and you want great customer service, I say I overstaff, and this is true. This is actually my differentiator and why we're just gaining all the market share right now in this city. It's because I overstaff the customer service side, my VAs. And when somebody calls in, we pick up on the first ring. If a text or an email comes in, we respond within a minute. If somebody wants same-day emergency service, we always have somebody available. That's the cost of great service. And I'm not afraid to tell people that they're not a good fit. Because here's the thing. There's no reason to not pay up front. And the only reason why somebody would not pay up front would be trust. So when you encounter prospective clients, or they call in, or it's your first conversation, you should not be focused on giving a quote. You should only be focused on building rapport and gaining their trust, and then get to the quote. But tell them up front at the beginning, you'll give them a quote right away. You have a few questions to ask first, so you can give them an accurate quote. That satisfies their want for that quote in their mind. And then it gives you the ability to buy a little bit of time and ask questions to then build that rapport and earn their trust. And you can do it in a few minutes. In fact, asking the right questions is a great way to demonstrate your expertise and show them that you really know what you're doing. I hope that helped give you a little bit of clarity. Yeah, Scott, it works like a charm. It's a great line. Thanks. I love when you back me up. It's great. So, coming back to what I was saying, and thank you, Eddie, for asking a great question. Awesome question. Very easy answer. Not as easy to execute when somebody is on the phone. The key is you got to be confident. You got to be confident, and real logic is very hard to contend with. It's hard to debate against. It makes sense. And I don't see any logical argument or position that could refute the fact that good service requires good people that you need to pay more to. That's simple. Back to what I was saying about a healthier alternative to desk jobs. Scott, I see you. A lot of people want to move during their workday. They want to move around. Cleaning gives them that. They're active. They're walking. They're stretching. They're moving around. Compare that to sitting in a chair for 8 hours. That's why I stand now. I was sitting for years. It was crushing me. Just being sedentary. It's terrible for the back and your gait, the way you walk. And compared to some other physical jobs like junk hauling and, more laborious or strenuous activities, cleaning isn't nearly as strenuous. It's really not. Very seldomly do we move heavy furniture. I tell people when we do a move out clean, if you want the behind the washer and dryer clean, for example, pull it out so when we get there we can access it. If you want behind your fridge cleaned, pull it out so we can get to it. And if I know it's requiring heavy lifting, I would send one of the guys to have a little extra muscle. And it's rare. Most of the girls are more than capable of moving even heavy furniture. I mean, all of them everybody is strong and capable. I don't think that there's anything other than maybe a really heavy couch or cleaning under a sofa, or maybe doing a mattress cleaning. A mattress cleaning would definitely require one of the guys. Mattresses can be pretty heavy. Or if you have two females, it's no problem at all. I mean, even one female can do it sometimes, but I wouldn't ask that because that'd be tough on the back, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. I see another comment here. Rick Benson says, is a move out like a deep clean? That's a good question. So there's one difference between a deep clean and a move out clean, or I call it a move out deep clean. Here's the difference. And semantics are important for perceived value. So the move out deep clean is the most extensive and most expensive service that we offer. And the reason why is because in a deep clean, you clean everything from top to bottom, light fixtures all the way down to every surface area. And it's very thorough, every nook and cranny. But you don't go inside cabinets and drawers, and you don't go inside the fridge unless they add it. But when someone's moving out, drawers are empty, all the stuff's gone, no food in the refrigerator. That's the big difference. You go one layer deeper. You go inside cabinets and drawers, and you deep clean inside all the appliances. In my deep cleans, I include the oven unless it's really, really bad, because it's less friction. I see a lot of cleaning businesses have menus and they have add-ons. And I think logically that makes a lot of sense. But in practice, I don't think it's a good user experience. I think giving somebody one flat rate and saying everything's included is a heck of a lot easier to sell. And that's probably why we sell more than all the other companies. Hope that gave you some clarity there, Rick. It's the same thing except for inside drawers and cabinets and inside the fridge. Eddie says, on the hiring context, have you ever hired undocumented people? The reason I ask is because I don't know how taxes go for them. I haven't, Eddie. I haven't. Everybody that we hire has to go into Gusto, into the payroll software, and they have to have a social security number and things like that. So I don't have any experience with that. But I imagine if they're undocumented and you're paying them sort of under the table, and again, I'm not an attorney, so I can't give you any legal advice. I'm just sort of speculating here. thinking out loud. Chances are, if you're paying somebody cash under the table, I would think that they're probably not claiming it. So I don't know if there's any tax implications to worry about. But anyway, that's illegal, and I need to disclose that very clearly. But no, I don't. Everybody that I've encountered has filled out the forms, give me the driver's license, copy a social security card, and Gusto puts them on the platform. I imagine they probably wouldn't if they didn't have the right qualifications. Moving on. Good questions. Eddie, you've been a valuable member of the show. Scott says, I'm pretty sure it's illegal. Yeah, I think so. But I don't want to start giving legal opinions because I'm not a lawyer. And I have to disclose that and have to be very upfront about that. I don't want to get in any trouble. And actually, Eddie, I'm glad you asked that question because you've given me a perfect segue into my next talking point. Rick says, nice, RU Coffee Mug. Thank you. I'm glad somebody noticed that. Look at that, huh? It has my name on it too. I think it's a little too busy, but hey, it's better than a blank one. But segueing to the tax benefits for 1099 cleaners are huge. We talked about this in our coaching call. A lot of cleaners, they freak out because they've only had W-2 jobs, some of them. And they're like, what am I going to do for taxes? And, you know, they prefer or only know their comfortability is what they know. And that's a W-2 where they're used to having taxes taken out and things like that. And even as a contractor, you can pay your quarterlies and pay up front. And then if you're overpay it all, that's what the refund's for. But many cleaners operate as independent contractors, especially mine. And the way I teach things, I teach that you could do either or, but obviously there's a lot of benefits and incentives for having 1099 contractors, which means that they can write off a lot of expenses. There's a phenomenal, just Google Gusto, Gusto article on 1099 contractor benefits. Gusto article on 1099 contractor benefits. It's a brilliant article, and I actually give everybody the link when we onboard them, all the cleaners, because it outlines things like their car and gas, their cell phone, their cleaning supplies, their laundry expenses. They can write off a portion of their home or apartment or whatever if they're washing their rags there. That is a very legal write-off. If they store equipment there, they can write it off. Mileage, uniforms, equipment depreciation. I mean, this is probably only really a vacuum. It's a very low cost, but hey, any tax deductions are tax deductions. And these deductions can significantly reduce their taxable income overall. So the financial upside can be very attractive. Plus, depending on how you claim on a W-2, you're essentially letting the government, now listen to me here. Most people don't know this. When you get taxes taken out of your paycheck on a W-2 and you get a return at the end of the year, you're not getting extra money. You've given them your money to hold, and a lot of the time, extra money. So it's not in your possession. Everybody knows cash is king. I'd rather have the money. And an entire year or however some odd quarters later, they're assessing it and saying, oops, you paid $3,000 more than your final amount came out to. So we're going to send it back to you. It's your money. You earned it. You just let Uncle Sam borrow it from you until they made their final assessment. That's what a tax return is. You're not getting extra money. That money's yours. Why not have it just stay in your pocket? And then at the end of the year, after the write-offs, decide how much you're going to have to pay and set a little aside for it. Most of my cleaners pay little to no taxes after all the write-offs. They have so many. Oh, I thought I saw a new question. All right. If anybody wants to be a guest of the show, please DM me on Instagram at John Margalit. We'll send you a link. You can come on up. I'm not the one doing it because I'm here talking to you, but Taj is online. He's a great moderator, and he's ready to send you the links. You can come up and join me. You can ask me any questions you want. You'll have my undivided attention. It's fun. And if you want to be on camera, it's even more fun. But you don't have to be. I don't want anybody uncomfortable. Now, moving on to more benefits for the cleaners. They can have flexible schedules because they don't have to accept jobs. The way that we do it, we tell the cleaners, give us your availability. the times and dates that you want jobs. And if they say they don't want to work on Saturday or Tuesday, they don't work. They're in complete control. Cleaning offers a lot of things that people want. They can work around their kids' schedules, as I mentioned. They can work part-time, choose which jobs to take, build their own routines. That sort of autonomy is incredibly appealing for the obvious reasons beyond what I've just mentioned. And cleaning often pays better than gig economy jobs. Compare cleaning to things like Uber, DoorDash, Instacart. Those jobs involve vehicle wear and tear, inconsistent income, lower hourly rates, way lower. Cleaning frequently pays significantly more per hour, which is why gig workers eventually switch to cleaning, a lot of them. I have a ton of cleaners that were doing DoorDash and Instacart and Uber and hated sitting in the car all day, I'm in Vegas, picking up belligerent people off the strip, probably throwing up in their cars sometimes, often being rude, loud, obnoxious. Compare that to putting on your headphones, turning on a podcast, going to an Airbnb where nobody's there. There's little to no mess because people don't want to get charged more. And you have plenty of time to do your thing, do some laundry. You could talk on the phone. No one's there. And you're getting $20 to $24 an hour plus gas. Not bad. Not bad. We have another question that just came in, or a comment. Lindsay says, hit that like button. Oh, thank you. Hit that subscribe button. And all of you don't miss the valuable content. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. If anybody hasn't liked, commented, or subscribed, please do so now. And remember, on TikTok, I'm making a huge push to try to get on the platform so I can go live like this and have that creator studio access. Finding cleaners is shockingly easy. When I post a job on Indeed.com, resumes start coming in within minutes, not hours, minutes. That's how active the labor market is. People are constantly searching for cleaning jobs in your city right now, no matter how small it is. Fulfillment partners are everywhere too. What do I mean by fulfillment partners? This is something most people don't realize. Almost every city has dozens of small, probably more, there's probably 100 or more. Realistically, that just don't know of or don't see online when you do a basic search. But almost every city has so many of these cleaning companies. They're usually ma and pa. Usually they're a couple of friends, a couple of family members, or just solopreneurs. And I think of those people as, someone would call your traditional, cleaning lady. I don't know. I know that's an outdated term, but I'm just saying it how it is. But fulfillment partners are everywhere. And they're great cleaners. Great. They do an amazing job fulfilling the service. But they don't know how to market and advertise. They don't run ads. They don't build funnels. They don't optimize their Google Business Profile listings. They're incredible at cleaning. But they're terrible at acquiring customers because they just don't have the know-how. It's not because they're not smart. They just don't know how to do it. They've never been taught, or they're not researching it online like a lot of the listeners. So when someone like me shows up with a steady flow of jobs, they're freaking thrilled. They're thrilled for happy home helpers. And I have more than a dozen fulfillment partners. And now they call us asking for more work because they'd rather focus on cleaning than marketing. In the beginning, I remember I would go on Yelp, I would go on Thumbtack, TaskRabbit, Care.com has cleaners, babysitters. And I would look for the solopreneurs or the ma and pa cleaning services that had 5 to 10 reviews, 4.5 stars and up. That's a clear signal they're not running ads and that they rely on these platforms, these gig economy platforms, to get exposure to potential clients. So I go in and I sort of like, like a secret shopping mission. And I identify them. I do a quick Google search on their company name because it doesn't have their contact info. But in 2 seconds with the internet, you can find anything. So I find it, I reach out, or I did in the beginning in the first year, and I would say, hey, could you handle some more jobs? And most often they say, well, yeah, of course. And then I move on, and then I would just say, well, here's our payout sheet for different size houses and different types of cleaning jobs. I'm going to send it to you. And if you are okay with the rates that I can pay out, let's do some business together. Works great. Now we get calls like this all the time. We get emails and calls from local mom and pop cleaners or solopreneurs that are asking if we have any extra jobs or overflow that we can't handle. And so we just create this database of outsourced partners, fulfillment partners, we call them. And the customers love them. A lot of them just have regulars with us now. So if you're worried about them stealing your clients, don't. It's going to happen once in a while anyway, but it's such a small percentage. I read this study a long time ago, and the data was so clear. It's much less than 1% of people will even attempt to make side deals like that. And in the contracts, I have pretty steep deterrents, like fines if I find out. $10,000 awarded to me in small claims court on a judgment, things like that. I actually have it in the contract for the clients and the cleaners. And I'm not going to sue anybody in small claims court. It's just a deterrent, and it works. So you take that 0.003% and it comes down to 0.002 and it's virtually nobody, but it's going to happen once in a while. If you know what you're doing and you run a good business and you have advertisements that are really cranking, you won't feel it. It'll cost you more to worry about it than it will to just keep doing what you're doing and not worry at all. I see some comments here. They were filling up. Don't like managing or training too. Exactly. When Rick makes a good point. When you bring on fulfillment partners that are professional, they don't need to ask you about supplies. They don't need to be trained. They don't need to be managed. They just want to show up and clean and make the customer happy and get paid. It's terrific. It's a win-win. I see here after that, Logan says, any issues in your experience with fulfillment partners taking? Oh, okay. Well, I answered that question even before I saw, and then you laughed at it. You read my mind. Okay, good. I've been doing this a while, so I know what sort of questions are coming in, but really good questions. And here's Eddie laughing along. Eddie, you're a great audience for the show. I love it. So continuing on where I left off, when I show up with a steady flow of jobs, they're thrilled. Now, shifting back to the labor pool actually growing. AI, we all know, is replacing certain types of work. Office jobs, admin roles, entry-level tech positions even. But AI, it doesn't clean houses. We all know that. I don't know how old or young the audience is, but there was a cartoon when I was growing up in the 80s called The Jetsons, and they had a robot maid, Rosie. And she was like a human, but in a tin body or a sheet metal body, and she would clean, and she would have anecdotally funny comments and things like that. But anyway, the Jetsons is very far off. They also had flying cars. So I think flying cars, I know, will come way before robot maids. I guarantee you. Guaranteed. But this means that the workforce is shifting. And during recessions, even more people look for practical work like cleaning. So when the economy's bad, the labor pool for this industry continues to grow. It's a fact. I'm not giving you my opinion. I've seen the data. And he says, for your W-2 professionals, do you provide cars? Oh, heck no. Never provide cars. Too much liability. Insurance is too high. Definitely not. It's so bad that I want Taj to delete that comment. I'm just kidding. But that's how it makes me feel. I thought about it in the past, and I realized how dumb it would be to do that. But thank you for asking. I wouldn't even let any of the cleaners borrow my car, for example. You guys know I always have questions. I write down these thought-provoking questions because I love the engagement. So I'm going to start by asking you this. This is for the audience. What's the biggest fear you've had about hiring cleaners? Now, Logan's new. He hasn't hired cleaners yet. Rick hasn't hired cleaners yet. I'm curious, what's the biggest fear that you've had about hiring cleaners, if you've had any? Please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to know. And as you're thinking about the answer to that, I'll move on. My next question is, do you think the real problem is labor or learning how to acquire customers? Which one, especially if they're lemons? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they could take the Range Rover all they want. They'll just be stranded because the car will die. Rick, I had a conversation with the Range Rover again today, corporate, and they were incredibly concerned about somebody going on social media and telling the world how their cars just die. Can you imagine spending $100,000 on a car and then having it strand you at the grocery store when the car's new and only has 7,000 miles on it? It's ridiculous. Don't buy a Range Rover. All right. For service-based business is labor, right? I'm not sure what you mean, Eddie. But I see here Reaper. Hey, Reaper, you're back. Awesome. You great comments the other day. My biggest fear about hiring cleaners is I don't have a cleaning business. That's pretty funny. Well, if you don't have a cleaning business, you should have no fear. No problem. Thank you for tuning in anyway. Here's Scott. Doing a poor job and ending up with a 1-star review. That's a very realistic. Thanks, Scott. That's a great question. In fact, in our last coaching call, I showed Scott and the others that were in the group about a 1-star review I received. Scott, I got it changed to a 5-star review. I'll share that. I called the client. Every time you call a client that leaves a bad review, you always want to open up the conversation by saying, "Hi, this is John. I'm the owner of Happy Home Helpers. I saw what you wrote about my business online, and I'm calling to help." That's it. Pause. Completely disarm them. The protection walls come down, and then you just have a nice conversation, and you tell them how much you want to rectify it and how much you want to provide value for what they paid for. You do that, people love it. That's it. The only reason why they write a bad review is because they want to be seen and heard by the company, not other people online. They don't care about helping you make a purchase decision. They're doing two things when they leave a bad review. They're gaining leverage because it's there forever and they know it. And they want someone like me to call, apologize, let them vent, and maybe give them a complimentary cleaning or a small partial refund. Now, I don't like to give refunds, but I do. Maybe once a quarter, I'll give a refund. And it's a partial refund. I never give a full refund. But if I know it's going to turn a 1-star review into a 5-star review and the person's going to rave about how nice the owner of the business is, no problem. I'll get $100 is well worth it. So that's the answer to your question, or your fear, Scott. The way that you can handle it and approach it can turn any 1-star into a good review. Don't fear it, embrace it. It's kind of like what I said yesterday. Winners look at negative things as opportunities. When I see a 1-star review, I see a challenge, and I see a 5-star review if I can make a connection and build rapport. It's not hard if you open up the way I just explained. Operating in fear is very bad. You can fix problems, especially if you have a mentor and you're in a program where you could just, ask for advice. It is a very realistic concern, though. I had that concern for a long time when I started, but then I figured out how to mitigate those things, and I've moved on. Anytime I see it, my wife laughs because I'm like, "All right, I watch this. I'm going to turn this 1-star into a 5-star. Watch what I'm going to," and I get excited. Reaper Kills says you can call the client, apologize, talk through how you can do better for a discount next time. That way you have a chance for a better review and now a higher lifetime value from that person. Yeah, this is true. I don't apologize profusely. You know why? I'm not sorry. And I'm not calling to tell them I'm sorry. And I say this because that's not what they want. I know what they want. I just explained it, and so I focus on that. Sometimes I'll say things like, I apologize for the inconvenience, but I sort of just glaze over it. When a staff member of mine in customer service gets a call like that and they like profusely apologize, I think it almost frustrates the caller more because they're like, great, you're sorry. What does that do for me? Right. The approach always has to be what's in it for them. It's what's in it for them. WIFT. WIIFT, WIFT. What's in it for them? If you think that way, if that's your frame of mind, you'll succeed every time. Rick Benson says, which platforms are best besides Indeed? ZipRecruiter, Indeed. I would just stick to Indeed. It's sort of like a universally known thing for cleaners that are looking for these types of jobs. There's so many on Indeed, you don't need any other platforms. I did experiment one time with a program called Hope for Prisoners. And this is a tough one because I don't think clients want ex-convicts in their home necessarily, but Hope for Prisoners is a program here in Las Vegas, and it's a remarkable program because they give people that have a troubled past a second chance. And these people go through years of rehabilitation in this program, and then only when the guy in charge feels that they're ready and that they're not a risk, he then opens up a channel for them to work with companies like mine. And I've had some good people from Hope for Prisoners. They're very serious. They're really careful. They want to do a good job. They know what's against them. They know they're starting from a disadvantageous position. They know it. They know they have to be cautious. And sometimes you get really hardworking people that can't get hired anywhere else, and they just want a chance to make some money. They're trying to re-assimilate. John Ponder is the guy who runs that program. He's an incredible guy. He's just continuously pumping out rehabilitated people that go on and lead a normal life. It's really quite the thing. Brooklyn, the mompreneur. Hey, Brooklyn, good to see you again. We hire cleaners in Facebook groups. Haven't tried Indeed yet. Are you able to post hiring ad for free? Great question. So the ads are not free, but they're not expensive. And Brooklyn makes a very good point. You can many times go on Nextdoor or Facebook groups, mom groups, and you can ask for referrals to cleaners. That's a great way to do it. Thank you, Brooklyn, for contributing that piece of advice. It's a really good piece of advice. The only reason why I don't do it that way is because it doesn't scale really well. There's a lot of manual, interaction in those channels. It doesn't scale well. Indeed scales easily. I can put one ad out and, within a few hours, I can have 100 applicants. So, but Brooklyn, I think, makes a good point in the beginning when you have to be a little bit more surgical and patient. That could be a great way to find your core 2 or 3 cleaners to get started. By way of referral, even asking neighbors and then getting in contact with their cleaning people and asking if they would want to check out your pay sheet. It's a great idea. You could definitely find some really good people, but again, not at scale. In the beginning, no problem. It's a great piece of advice. Scott Taylor says the book, When I Say No, I Feel Guilty, is relevant here. Great strategies to accepting criticism without admitting fault. I like that. Scott actually has some really good book recommendations. I think you read a lot. I don't read enough. The books that you see behind you, those are just so I look scholarly. I was thinking to myself, what should I have in the background of my studio setup? And I saw Russell Brunson always had a lot of books. Ty Lopez told me, I was having lunch with him one time, that books are the key to a good background. So I put up my favorite books. I haven't read that many of them, but these ones here, I've probably read most of them some time ago. And I don't know, let me know in the chat. Does it look cool? Does it make me look smarter? Anyway, I'm getting a note here from the moderator. Moderator says, quote and video. All right, let's do it. I know we're coming up on an hour. I'll finish asking the questions, Taj, and then the next segment is a quote of the day. Thank you for reminding me. Let's get through these. If someone handed you 10 cleaning jobs tomorrow, could you find cleaners to fulfill them? That's the next question for the audience. I'm going to run through these. Eddie says, Reaper Kill says, can you talk a bit more about your done-for-you service? I'm very interested when I'm back in the States. Absolutely. Yeah, so for those of you that are curious about my 90-day build program, it's a very hands-on, immersive learning experience with me and my team. I pull back the curtain. You get what I call an uncensored backstage pass. You literally hang with my team for an entire week on Zoom, and you see how they operate a multi-million-dollar cleaning business in real time. There's no better learning experience. We let you go hands-on, and even sometimes people talk to our customers. So this is the big part of it, and I build your website. I set up all your marketing systems. I set up all your recruiting and hiring systems. I write your job posts for you. It's a very hands-on precision sort of setup, and there's nothing like it. I know that my competitors don't offer this because they don't have the knowledge and the experience that I have. It's just very simple. But yeah, that's you can't. It's like a no-brainer. You'll get there so much faster without trial and error. It's a great program. Success rate is very high. It's probably 80+% when I look at the numbers. And the only people that don't succeed are the ones that have life events that come up. Somebody in their family gets sick or something, and they just have to pause. Other than that, everybody makes it. Everybody gets to 10,000 within 90 days. Usually it's half the time. All right. Thank you for asking. And if you want more information, email me, john@johnmargalit.com, Jon. There's no H. If you go to my website, johnmargalit.com, you can go to the contact tab and it'll send, you'll fill it out. It's 2 seconds, name, email, maybe ask for phone number, and you can leave me a message. If you want to book a call with me, we can do that, but you have to fill out a little bit of a questionnaire because I can't get on the phone with everybody unless you're very serious. Thank you for asking. Now, I want to get through these. Rick Benson says, I searched for cleaners as individual on Nextdoor, and I got multiple emails a day from small cleaners. Exactly. Rick is proof. And Scott says, check out my garage. That's a Ty Lopez old saying. Here in my garage, he used to film those crazy ads where he would show off his cars because they're very aspirational, and he was selling courses. The guy made a lot of money. By way of mutual friend, I became friends with Ty Lopez. Like, I don't know, it's probably been 8 or 9 years ago. And Ty Lopez said to me, he was able to get to anybody and interview anybody, but there was only one person he couldn't get to. He just couldn't get a hold of him, didn't know how to reach him. And that's because this person doesn't have an email address. He doesn't even have a computer in his office. He's one of the richest guys in the world. It's Warren Buffett. And on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to tell my Warren Buffett story. I'll try to tie it into what we're doing, but I was lucky enough to not only hang with Ty Lopez, I took him to Omaha to see Warren Buffett. Now I'll include that in the story, but and Ty chartered a jet. But long story short, I was blessed to have developed a relationship over the years with Warren Buffett, and I'll share more on that later. And he took me to dinner with Bill Gates and Charlie Munger and Billie Jean King and Sarah Blakely and a number of others, Jesse Itzler, some really powerhouses of entrepreneurs. I was in the right place at the right time. I got very lucky. Interesting story, though. Reaper Kill says, I'll be back in the States sometime in the next 3 weeks. Great. Just shoot me a message, and I'd love to have a conversation. Last question. How many people in your city right now would take a job paying $30 an hour to clean? Probably a lot. And if you are letting fear stop you from starting something that could change your life, not a good way to go. All right, let's get to the quote of the day. We have a lot of comments, and this is great. I'll answer Rick's in a minute. Oh, Rick is addressing Scott. It reminds me of Ben Affleck and Gone Girl. That was the garage part. He's talking about a scene, though, that Ty Lopez famously does, that he says, here in my garage, and he wants you to see his sports cars. Quote of the day, let's get it up. Today's quote is from Henry Ford. And I think that it ties in well. You guys let me know what you think. But the quote of the day is, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right. I'll say it again. Whether you think you can or you think you cannot, either way, you will be right. If you believe cleaners are impossible to find, you'll never start. But if you understand how the labor market actually works, you'll realize the opportunity is enormous. It's huge. Or as the president says, huge. All right, let's move on. Let's play the clip. I got a cool clip from you. I wanted to have a special guest come back. I got Alex Hormozi on the show today, believe it or not. Taj, can you roll that clip on 7, please? We've got a clip. Alex is back. Let's go.
The hard way is the easy way, because the easy way never gets you there. You're gonna lose sleep, you'll doubt whether it'll work, you'll stress to make ends meet, you won't finish your to-do list, you'll wonder if you made the right call, and have no way to know for years. That's what hard feels like. You can't wish for life to not be stressful, because stress is what happens while you're alive. The only people who have no stress are dead people.
That's right. Always good insight from Alex. I love having him on the show. Maybe one day I'll really actually have him on the show. I wouldn't doubt that. If I could develop a relationship with Warren Buffett, I think I can get to Alex Hormozi. Anyway, more on that to come. Scott says that was his ad. That's right. Eddie says, when hiring 1099 professionals, are you ever afraid that they won't do a super good job? No, I'm not afraid of anything because I have systems in place to mitigate all those things. A little bit of fear is always going to happen. Don't let it control you. What's the worst thing that can happen? They do a poor job. Maybe you issue a partial refund. You call the customer. You do what I just said. You send a different team to go and redo the job, and you don't pay them. If somebody doesn't complete the mission, they don't get paid for the mission. Make sure your contracts say that with them. People that understand that if they don't do a good job, they won't get the pay, they usually just do a good job. Don't let fear control you. It's all about how you approach. And Eddie, I know it's a little bit more difficult just because of the age. You know, you're a young man, and when you're young, people tend to treat you differently. I know how it feels because I got started at an early age. But don't let ageism be something that gets you off track. All right? If you're confident and you present yourself well, and you're a good owner, you support the cleaners, you pay them well, you have their back, they'll go out and perform for you. Make no mistake about it. The people that come to you for jobs, they just want to make good money and they want to be treated fairly with respect. That's it. If you can do those things, people will go out and do a good job. Every now and then you'll have a problem. That's how business works. I mean, I bought a Range Rover, a brand new one, and it keeps dying. You think the dealership likes when I call them? No, they hate it. They told me to call corporate. All right. Jen says, hey, Nilsson, he is in my program. Thank you for showing up. Nilsson, you're very welcome. And then I've got Rick Benson. Good questions, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie, you're on fire today. Really good questions. Do you pay them more than you would pay a W-2? No, same. And Eddie says, thank you. Okay, you're welcome. No problem, Eddie. I'm glad you're getting value. Here's the key lesson and takeaway for today, and then I'll wrap up my show. The real challenge in a cleaning business is not finding cleaners. It's just not. The real challenge is finding customers. Labor is abundant. Demand is abundant. But the rare skill, the valuable skill, is knowing how to generate consistent customer acquisition. If you can master that, cleaners will appear. They'll line up to fulfill because people follow opportunity. That's why everything I teach starts with and ends with customer acquisition. That's why my background gave me an unfair advantage because I understood how to do that piece and I knew nothing else. So if you work with me, I'm going to bestow that upon you. I'm going to show you how to be an incredible salesperson, even if you hate sales or you think you suck at it. Trust me. And once you master that, once you know how to advertise and market and get people that need help on the phone consistently, and you know exactly what to say to them so that they whip out their credit card and pay, it's a very, very powerful thing. It'll be the most powerful you ever feel, I promise. You will transform. And as a byproduct of that transformation, you will create wealth for yourself. Now, here's my closing thought. If you're thinking about starting a cleaning business and the only thing holding you back is the fear of finding cleaners, I want you to understand something. The fear is not based on reality. It's based on imagination. There are thousands of people in your city right now who would happily clean homes for good money. People who want flexible work. People who enjoy the job. People who just need an opportunity. And if you pay well, treat them with respect, communicate clearly, and show them that their work helps grow something meaningful. I want to say that again. Everybody loves to be part of something. I mean, being nice and respectful and paying well, those are normal things I hope everybody wants to do. But if you can show your cleaners and you're very clear with them that their work helps grow the business, their work is meaningful, you can build an incredible team. I have a great team. I'm very lucky. But I just do those basic things. I give them credit. They can see the company growing. They see that we're trying to give them 3 or 4 jobs a day because we have so many jobs coming in. I just keep hiring and hiring. Good problem to have. They see it, they know. So I'm very clear about how I could not be successful without them and that we need each other. I've done it over and over again, and the truth is, most cleaning businesses struggle with labor, not because cleaners are rare, but because the owner doesn't know how to recruit, or they don't treat cleaners well, or they don't pay enough. But if you solve those problems, the workforce is massive. So don't let an imaginary problem stop you from pursuing real opportunity. Because the cleaning industry is one of the few businesses where the workforce exists, the demand exists, and the barriers to entry are incredibly low. You just have to step forward and claim your place in it. That's it. There's enough for everybody. There's more than enough for everybody. Take a walk or a drive through town. How many homes and apartments do you see? How many offices do you see? How many retail spaces do you see? They all need to be cleaned. We have a 7-Eleven account. And they're 24/7, right? So some of these are open. We go at like 2 a.m. And I pay a lot more for it. The cleaners love it. Store's pretty empty. Few customers coming in here or there. They have to use those, those cones or those signs that say wet floor. All right, I'm in my time. You just have to step forward and claim your place in it. Cleaners aren't hard to find. Customers aren't that hard to find. And if you can solve that problem, the workforce will come find you. Thank you for joining me today. I enjoyed it as usual. If you want to be a guest of the show, please send me an email, john@johnmargalit.com. It's up there. Taj, thank you for beating me to it. If you go to johnmargalit.com, you'll find other resources. If you want me to hone in on a topic for a show and you want me to do a deep dive, just send me a message. Best place to message me is on Instagram @johnmargalit or shoot me an email. It's right there on the screen. I got a couple more comments and I'll shut it down. Has website company finished template yet? No, I am losing confidence in them, Rick. I really am. Gensis, I'm at the point right now, customer acquisition. Yep, that's it. Customer acquisition. That's it. You nailed it. Eddie, you are the star of today's show. I appreciate you. I'm rooting for you. I really, truly appreciate everybody that tunes in and supports this effort. And I'm grateful. And I'll see you guys on Monday. I'll miss you, but I'll be back and I'll see you on Monday. Thanks so much. Oh, what's the website template thing? Sorry, last one. There's a company, an AI website builder tool that wanted to sponsor the show. And they promised me that they would provide a template that mirrored the look and feel of Happy Home Helper's website. And they showed me a mock-up and it looked really darn good. And I was really hoping they would be able to produce it, but they told me that it'd be ready a month ago, and now I don't hear from them too much. So you know how startups go. I don't want to put too much stock into it because it's my name and my brand, and they haven't delivered. So with that in mind, we'll see you on Monday.